We're about to get into an incredible story about chance, about compassion, and about what it really, truly means to find your way home. And it all kicks off with one simple question.
This is the question that just shatters the quiet, desperate life of one mother. It comes from her little girl, Varya, and it sets in motion a chain of events so improbable you'd think it was written in the stars.
Now, to really get why this question hits so hard, you have to meet Milana Krechetova. She's a single mom, she's a district doctor, and her life, well, it's just a relentless grind of trying to make ends meet. So, what does her world actually look like? Well, picture this. A tiny room in a shared apartment, a salary that's basically gone the second it hits her account, and this deep, crushing loneliness of having to do it all by herself. Every single day is a marathon, getting Varya up and ready, fighting through a crowded bus just to get to a clinic with a line of patients out the door. And to make it all worse, she has absolutely zero support from her own mother. The person who should be her biggest ally basically tells her, "You chose this, so you can just suffer through it." It's so cold, so detached, and it's the complete opposite of what a mother's love is supposed to be. An ideal Milana was about to find in the last place she ever expected. So Milana is exhausted, she's isolated, and she's just trying to survive until the next day. And then, one evening, a late-night phone call from the clinic comes in, and this call, it's going to change absolutely everything. The city's ambulance service is completely swamped, so Milana gets dispatched to an emergency house call. Her patient is an elderly woman, Agafia Matveyevna, who lives all alone and is having a major blood pressure crisis. So Milana has to drag a sleepy Varya with her and head out into the night. You know, walking into Agafia's apartment is like stepping into a time capsule. Books are stacked from floor to ceiling, like silent witnesses to a long life. But there's also this overwhelming feeling of solitude. And in the quiet of that room, something sparks between the tired doctor and her sick patient. It's a look of recognition. They see the same deep loneliness in each other's eyes. As Milana is getting ready to leave, a neighbor pulls her aside and reveals the source of all that sadness. Agafia's only son, Gleb, vanished a year ago. He literally walked out the door to go to the store and just never came back. Poof, gone. Okay, so fast forward a few weeks. It's a bitterly cold January night. Milana's on another house call, but this time she's in a really bleak industrial part of the city. You know the kind of place, all abandoned factories and forgotten streets. She's walking back to the bus stop when she hears something, a faint noise, like a moan, coming from behind a row of dumpsters. Her doctor instincts kick in, and she pushes past her fear. Behind them, she finds a man who is barely alive, sick and freezing. When she asks his name, he whispers, "Gleb." Her heart just stops. She remembers what the neighbor said, asks to check him for injuries, and then she sees it. A very specific, crescent-shaped scar on his stomach. The exact scar Agafia had described. It's him. It's really him. The story he manages to tell her is an absolute nightmare. A year ago, he was kidnapped, drugged, shoved in a van, and taken to some illegal sweatshop. For 12 whole months, he was basically a slave, his entire identity erased. He finally escaped by hiding in a cargo box, only to end up here, freezing to death behind a dumpster. His own words just paint this horrifying picture. It wasn't just being locked up. It was about systematically breaking people down. They were turned into ghosts, into nobodies, trapped in a modern slavery ring running right under everyone's noses. So in that moment, what do? Call the police? An ambulance? Gleb is terrified his captors will find him if she does. So Milana makes a choice that defies all logic. She does something kind of crazy. She hails a cab and decides to take this broken stranger to the one place on Earth he belongs. I mean, can you just imagine that moment? Agafia Matveyevna opens her door and sees Milana, the doctor, and standing next to her is this gaunt, filthy man who is somehow impossibly the ghost of her son, the son she'd been mourning for an entire year. And all she can manage to say is one single word. Живой. Alive. That one word contains a year of grief, a lifetime of love, and a miracle of hope all wrapped up in a single breath. Milana figures her job is done here, and she tries to quietly slip away to give them their moment. But Agafia grabs her hand, and her plea, "Don't leave," it's not just a thank you. It's an invitation. It's like she's saying, "You're not a doctor anymore. You brought my son back from the dead. You're family now."
What happens next isn't some instant fairy tale ending. It's a slow, it's a difficult, but it's an incredibly beautiful process of healing. And not just for Gleb, but for all of them. They start to build a new life, not based on blood, but on kindness and taking care of each other.
And this is a perfect example of what people call a found family. You know, this idea that the family you choose to build can be just as strong or maybe even stronger than the one you happen to be born into. And what these four people, Milana, Varya, Gleb, and Agafia, create together is more real and loving than anything they had before.
You can just see all the broken pieces starting to fit together in a new way. Gleb slowly gets better with Milana's medical help and his mother's care. Agafia, who was drowning in loneliness, is now this doting grandmother to Varya. And between Milana and Gleb, a bond that started with trauma and gratitude starts to deepen into real love. And for the first time, Varya has a kind, loving father figure in her life.
And finally, this family that was found in crisis becomes official. Gleb gets a new job. He proposes to Milana. They get married. And then he legally adopts Varya, finally giving that little girl an answer to the question she asked so long ago. Their family, forged in the most unlikely way, is finally whole. And it's even growing, with a new baby on the way.
It's just such a powerful reminder, isn't it? The path home isn't always a straight line back to where you started. Sometimes home is a place you've never been, with people you just met who see you and save you and choose to stay. So it really leaves you with a big question to chew on. Was all of this just a series of unbelievable coincidences? Or does our destiny really hinge on the compassionate choices we make in one critical moment, when we're faced with another person's suffering?